just keeping a low profile in case the VAR, try to take away that final goal from us again. Ciao, buongiorno, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Inter Talks. Welcome to a super Sunday here in Sydney, Australia. Very sunny, as you can see. Wow, what a match overall. So much to talk about, but I'll try and not be too in detail so that we have plenty of time to move along to the Fiorentina preview. My name is Anthony. Thank you for tuning in once again, and shout out to Raul for doing the UEFA Champions League review against Tottenham. Still buzzing from that result, but we haven't really had time to come down as Interesti fans, have we? What a match this morning against Sampdoria. So much to speak about, most notably the interference of VAR. Now, I'm just going to cut straight to the chase and jump straight into the match because so much happened in this match. I can't really pinpoint individualistic performances. Almost everything in the first half has completely gone from my memory, bar maybe the Nainggolan goal. So let's just start off with how we lined up. Shimi Versalico and Lautaro Martinez were both still injured, so they did not feature tonight. Danilo D'Ambrosio came in at right back and once again gave a sort of passenger-like performance. Did not necessarily give too much for his confidence in terms of being a solid right back. But once again, to be honest, I didn't necessarily see any reason to criticize his performance full on. In terms of the centre back, Stefan de Vrij was given some much needed rest to make way for João Miranda. Just quickly, this is why we re-signed João Miranda to a 1-year extension. If De Vrij is not available and needs a rest, or God forbid Skriniar needs a rest, we need competent replacements. And João Miranda is a very competent replacement. So kudos to him for another good performance. Quadra Samoa lined up at the left back. For me, man of the match again tonight. So competent in everything he does. And that hit for the second disallowed goal via VAR. That one was completely legit. The ball did go out, but it was still a great hit. But Quadra Samoa is a player that gives 150% right until the final whistle, and we always have a lot of confidence in that. The double pivot in the midfield today was back to Brozovic Vecino. I guess that goal in the Champions League was enough to earn Vecino another 20 starts in a row in Serie A. Poor decision by manager Luciano Spalletti. He was once again a passenger, making Marcelo Brozovic cover most of the technical distributive workload from the center of the park. And this is why a player like Roberto Gagliardini complements Marcelo Brozovic a lot more. We really need to get into the habit of making that double pivot our constant Roberto Gagliardini and Marcelo Brozovic pairing, just so they have enough fluidity and time together, because if we keep switching those positions up every couple of matches or every couple of weeks, we're going to see so many inconsistencies in what is supposed to be the most important area of the park. Radja Nainggolan played as a cam and attacking mid again. And to be honest, if this is him only working at 40, 50, 60% in a position he's not 100% comfortable in, then I'm happy, because he works hard and he's tenacious and he still goes in for every challenge and he wins a lot of them. Yeah, sure, sometimes the ref isn't too happy and they blow the foul, but he's a player to be scared of. And I'm really happy to have him, and I think he was very unlucky to have his goal disallowed. Just speaking about that first goal, the offside that was called, I feel like the offside took place about 20 seconds prior to the goal that it was called. Whether it's the correct decision or not, you just feel like something is up, like something is a little fishy, like the calls, they haven't been going our way in recent weeks. We had the decision against Parma last week where Di Marco's shot was not only the path, so I should say, was not only blocking Handanovic's view, but we had that blatant handball that wasn't even called back to have a look at. So it leaves the question asking, why are there so many inconsistencies in a system like VAR that was brought in to rectify so many mistakes or so many wrongdoings? It just doesn't seem fair and it doesn't seem right, but we've kind of seen this before. But I don't want to make this video all about jumping into some sort of conspiracy theory. I'll leave that to you guys maybe in the comments or a little bit later on. Second half is where it really started to turn up the ante, and I for one wasn't that displeased with our performance in the second half. I felt like we had the upper hand the whole second half and that we were still going for it. I felt like we saw an Inter side in this second half today that even though our final third possession and our final ball and our final shot was still lacking. We saw a team that had the hunger to go on and try and get the 3 points. The same hunger that was against Tottenham. Not the same hunger that we saw the team not put out against Sassuolo in the final 10 to 15 minutes, or Torino in the whole second half, or against pardon me, or last week against Parma in the last 10 minutes when we conceded. We saw an Inter side who went on to really challenge this match and challenge Sampdoria, and that's what we did in order to get the 3 points. So the second half was a little bit of a mess again. Quad Asamoah puts the ball in the back of the net on around minute 86. The full ball does cross the line, and once again we just feel as though, what do we need to do to get a goal here? How is this possible? And then in typical Inter fashion, Sampdoria put the ball in the back of the net, and I'm just going to confess on camera right now that that was it for me. I had the game running in the background, but I had already gotten up to walk away. I'm thinking, even if he is offside, even if the goal shouldn't stand, it will stand, because that's our sort of luck at the moment this season, and today especially. But the right call was made. The goal was disallowed. And then before you know it, 2 minutes later, down the other end of the pitch, Marcelo Brozovic, just into extra time, hits the ball off what was looking to be our last set piece, and voila, there you have it, 3 punti in the bag. This is our most important win of the season so far. Forget the 3-0 against Bologna to kickstart our season. Even forget the Tottenham match. This is huge. This win against Sampdoria is a huge result for us, because we have a really tough run of fixtures coming up soon. Most notably another match in the Champions League, but we're starting with a huge fixture against Fiorentina. So just before I jump into the match preview for Fiorentina, I'll just finish off by saying a couple of things. First of all, I think the Serie A needs to take a little bit of a look at the VAR system and how it's running, and the inconsistencies that we're seeing at the moment in the VAR. They aren't right, and something needs to be done to stop it, unless there really is a system in place that is so flawed that we can't change it. Razvan from the Inter Australia group, shout out to him. Thanks for your comments. And he said something really interesting in the Inter Australia forum this morning. He said that if Inter had a coach like Mourinho, he wouldn't have let this happen. He would have gone straight to the press and said this is an injustice, and he would call it out for what it is. So I'm a little concerned that maybe not only is there a system in place that is flawed, but the entire rest of the league are cowardly in terms of tackling this flawed system. But I guess we'll see what happens in the coming weeks and see if any other decisions need to be rectified, or if any other decisions are dealt with in a controversial manner. The 3 points are there. I guess we can move on now. Moving on to Fiorentina, which is going to be an even tougher match. Fiorentina have defeated Spal 3-0 this morning, which keeps them in second place on the ladder. They have only failed to register a win in one fixture, I think, this season in the Serie A. And you know what? They're playing great football. I think many will argue that they're playing the best football in Italy at the moment. And if we think we've had some tough matches this season, I think the toughest one is 3 days away. I think the Fiorentina match will be tougher than Spurs, tougher than Samp, and we are going to have to be at the top of our match in order to match them. So just a quick preview. You guys will have to forgive me. Of course, the match against Sampdoria only just finished about an hour ago. So in terms of team news and stuff like that, no one has any information for the match against Fiorentina, but we can make some educated guesses based on what we saw today. Ivan Perisic wasn't brought on until about minute 65, if I remember correctly. You can hold me to that just in case I'm wrong on that. So we fully expect him to start against Fiorentina. Antonio Candreva can never be near the starting lineup again. Like, I understand he got that goal against Bologna, but he was garbage against Tottenham. And he was garbage again today. Every time he gets the ball, he gives it away, or his crossing is just, it gets worse and worse every game. Just on a human being level, it amazes me how someone can put so much practice and effort into a skill or a movement and just constantly fail at it repetitively. It's not like Matteo Politano was much better today in terms of his crosses, but at least he doesn't always take that option first time. And at least he doesn't always, have to feel as though he needs to do everything himself, a la Candreva. Candreva's the type of player that even if he's got the player dead square in front of him, he'll choose to take him on, try to beat him, deliver a cross, even when he sees 3 opposition shirts in front of just a lone Mauro Icardi. It's not on. It hasn't been on for a long time now, and it's really starting to vex me. But now that we've got the 3 points, I'm going to move on from that now and say, get Keita Balde in, get Politano in for the whole 90 minutes, put Candreva on the bench, and only bring him on if we are winning by 3 goals, or if we're winning by a couple of goals and you need to protect the lead, and you're just looking for someone to cover a right wing back position. But do not start him. Do not start Candreva at all. Simi Versalico should be fit by the Fiorentina match. And if he is, this is his opportunity to get back into the starting lineup and really prove to Spalletti that he is the right man to be leading our defensive line on the right-hand side. Other than that, I think you'll see a very, very similar lineup to what we saw today with Roberto Gagliardini coming in to replace Mattias Vecino. This is why these 3 points were so important. We understand that there were some players today that weren't playing, but now that we've got the 3 points, maybe we can safely say that they were going to be rested, and Gagliardini, Perisic, Versaico, even Martinez, they will all be fresh again for the Fiorentina match. My last video, I didn't get to air, and I predicted that Tottenham and Inter would play out a 1-1 draw. I was incorrect on that. Thankfully, we got the points. This time against Fiorentina, I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic. I know we're away from home, and I know that they have been the informed team in Italy, but I think our confidence is going to continue, and I think that we may be able to scrap something. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 win away from home in Florence. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in again. Thank you for all your liking and subscribing and commenting and sharing. It's been really, really good. We will see you guys for the Fiorentina review, where Raul will bring that back to you. Forza Inter, 3 more points. Forza Inter. It's going to be a crazy season, guys. Hope you're going to enjoy the ride.